Hi, this is Dr. Steve Polis from SuccessfulDentists.com, and I'd like to talk to you today about how I built a $4 million dental practice by taking emergencies and saying yes as often as I could. Now, a lot of you think about emergencies and you say, oh gosh, they're going to be hard to deal with and they're not going to be ready to do things. And I just am reminded about that line, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. And emergencies are that same way. It's just like a box of chocolates. Sometimes you get someone that comes in and they are the best, most amazing patient you could ever ask for. And then sometimes you get someone to come in and they are a biggest PIA that you've ever imagined. And we have a system where we're able to deal with that. We can talk to them, we can relate to them, we can give them options, and we have them work on our terms. So if they want a tooth out, we always recommend a tooth out with a bone graft. It comes to around $500. So I'm sure it's going to be different in different parts of the country and different locations and however you do it. But basically, that's how you can turn that into it. The other thing I'll do is I'd like to do a root canal whenever I could, or an extraction and an implant. Now, if they can't afford the full fee of the root canal, oftentimes what I've offered is pulpotomy. So we'll do the first step of the root canal. We'll tell them we're going to remove the pulp. It's about $300. And then when you're ready to get it completed, it'll be about $600 or $150 more. And then there's going to be some more steps as far as building the tooth up and getting the crown on it. So this gives you some flexibility. A lot of people come in and they have a job and they have decent income, but they don't have great resounding income. And by offering them options, you let them save face, you let them have peace of mind, and that they can get in pace with you. So one of the first steps I learned years ago from one of the mentors, Earl Estep, he says, always get in step with your patients. Sit down next to them and ask them, well, what's going on with you right now? How can I help you? What's wrong with your tooth? And offer a few options. Sometimes the option is give them some anesthetic, adjust the bite, and get them some scripts. A lot of times they're very helpful for you doing that. And at the most, it's a $100 charge or $150 charge, but keep it in a reasonable range. You may be in some cities where you need to charge $39. You may be in other areas where you can charge $150 for that. So it all depends on what demographics you're in, what the environment of the city is you're in, and how you want to run the practice. So I've always built the practice on, I'll say yes to almost anything. I'll clarify it and refine it later, but by doing so, I give the patient an option to have their choices and have their face saved and have some grace and respect. So being open to emergencies has been the key to growing my practice. So we have a lot of listings on Google Maps, some other areas, some Facebook posts. We've just been around a number of years taking dental emergencies, so it's known that we're an emergency office. And the people call, and we've booked off some times every day to accommodate the emergency. Now, the most prolific time is Saturday and Sunday, and you've got to work out a plan where you can get those phones covered and then some provider of dental services. And I have a partner doc, and he'll take a couple of Saturdays a month. I'll take a couple of Saturdays, and I do Sunday mornings. I know some of you in the Bible Belt that may be hard to get away with, but in other parts of the country, Sunday's just another day. And I think Walmart and Target and those stores have pioneered it, that business is 7 days a week, close to 24 hours a day. So having that ability to be available. Now, I don't answer phones or go down 24 hours a day. I set my hours, and I work 4 hours on Saturday and I work 4 hours on Sunday. And those days have yielded some of the biggest cases that I've gotten. They've also yielded some patients that spent a couple $100, complained, and never came back. So it's just that playing of the bell curve. There's going to be some people at the bottom end that aren't very good performers. They're not in step with you. There's a lot of people in the middle, Takes a little bit of effort, but not a lot of effort to get in step with them. And then there's some people at the high end on the bell curve where they like everything you say, they like everything you do, and they're ready to spend some money with you right then and there. So that's the key, is having postings that you're available on weekends and weekdays for emergencies. Now, you would think I would get a ton of calls after 5 o'clock, but I don't. Maybe one or two, a couple nights a week, and some of them are worth salvaging. And basically, my salvage thing is, I can see you first thing in the morning. Can I call you a prescription tonight? And I had very good luck with ibuprofen, an antibiotic, and Medrol dose pack. So depending on if they're allergic to penicillin, the other choice would be clindamycin. The ibuprofen, if you have them take an 800 and then a couple of Tylenol a couple hours later, they'll have a cumulative effect. If they need to get to sleep, have them take Tylenol with Benadryl, Tylenol PM, or a generic equivalent of that. You get them comfortable and out of pain, and you say, well, when can you come in tomorrow? Now, if they're really in pain, they'll come first thing in the morning, but sometimes they have to work. They may have to work 7 to 3, and they'll come in at 3:30 or 4 o'clock. I've gotten many patients that way, and I've always been understanding. I've always been able to communicate with them. And I get a mini health history, and we do a telemedicine visit online. And I basically will tell them, now this will be a telemedicine visit. I need your card to reserve the space. It'll be a $50 charge if you don't show up sometime in the next 48 hours. So with that card, then I can call them a prescription. And I've done my due diligence on telemedicine. So those are the steps to getting that done. And we've averaged over 100 new patients a month in and month out, probably for the last 12 to 15 years. And having the options of doing the work you want on the patients you want is made possible by having that big volume. So some of the patients don't work out. Some of the patients work out years later. So one of my favorite stories is I had a lady that I saw in emergency, broken tooth, did a composite repair, and we did some patch composites over 3 to 5 years. Well, she was a secretary at a legal office, and she had not told me she was planning on going to law school, but she went to law school. We took care of her teeth, we got her through, and she gets out of law school, and somehow she gets lined up with the lawyer that was involved in the tobacco settlement. Now, when the lawyers got a settlement from the tobacco companies, there were big payouts, and she had the money to do 20 crowns. So I had nursed her and babied her for 5 or 6 years, maybe 7 years, and I got rewarded with a very big case. So those cases are out there, and they're always out there. And sometimes your best referral source, you don't do a ton of work on them, but you've always treated them nice. You remember their name. You say welcome. You say thank you. You ask them please. Sometimes you'll smooth a rough spot, do a little touch-up work and not charge them. They send all of their friends and all of their family. They send people that they meet at the grocery store. It's the craziest thing. There are other people that you've got a great relationship with, you've done a ton of work on, and they don't want to refer anyone because they don't want to have your office get too busy. So that's a range of what is available and how you can use emergencies to build a big practice. Now, getting to the number of collecting $333,000 a month, that's 4 million divided by 12. We dreamed about it, and I put it in my goal cards probably 4 or 5 years ago. And we're always at 2.6, 2.7. I says, I want to go all the way to 4. So we're collecting 225, 250, which at the time was very good. Not a lot of offices were collecting that. Now we've gotten up to this higher level, and we mainly do bread and butter dentistry. We do root canals, we do veneers, we do crowns, we do bridges, we do implants. But usually it's only 2 or 3 sections at a time. And that steady flow, it's sort of like Pete Rose hitting singles. Just have that attitude. All I have to do is get a single or maybe a double every now and then. And it's going to keep pushing the runners in and keep pushing the production. So those are the tricks. We're going to get into the marketing, how to do that, how to handle the phones, how to have the attitude with your staff, and how to have things flowing. So one of the tricks with the staff is there are days that you need an extra assistant over what you think you need. So on Mondays, sometimes we'll have 4, sometimes we'll have 5. If it's a Monday after a big holiday, we'll have 6 assistants. For 2 doctors, that's 3 assistants each, 2 primary treatment rooms, and 1 overflow room each. That gives you the flexibility to get a patient in. Sometimes you do a root canal buildup and crown. Sometimes you do a pulp removal. Sometimes you just do a prescription and a bite adjustment. But you become friends with them, you get them committed, and they come in later and they get more and more of their work done over time. So having that pipeline full is your key. Filling the office with happy, friendly faces, that's the other key. The staff you pick needs to be fun, they need to be happy, they need to be energetic. So if you can do those things, you're going to have an amazing experience in life and an amazing experience as a practitioner. So I'm going to teach you that in the Successful Dentist program. You'll be able to emulate all you want of that in your own life. And when you put it to work, you'll have amazing success, because success breeds success. Flow breeds good flow. Happiness breeds more happiness. So you have a great day. You continue to listen to what I have to teach you, and you'll have an amazing practice.